back to the grind, and in case you missed the first part, we were talking about expos, their significance to your businesses. Of course, we broke down the numbers on market margins. We looked at a couple of exhibitors that we got to see, and now we're going to be looking at some of the business capital that you can use while looking into expos. Now, on business capital, how much should you invest in expos and trade fairs as a marketing strategy? Now, on average, a typical stall or area can go for as low as 2,500 shillings to even more than 500,000 shillings. This is typically dependent on the kind of sector that you're in and the possible benefits that you may accrue. Expos and trade fairs within the ICT and innovation sectors usually go for higher due to the companies that partake in such events. Now, the logic behind such events is such that foot traffic usually translates to possible customers and long-term clients, and in some instances, investors for one's business. This can also extend to the strengthening of one's value chain. For the given period, a business using an expo as a marketing strategy would have hundreds of individuals showing interest in their products and becoming instant purchasers or future buyers, ensuring a fair return on investment. And that's, of course, what we had on business capital on the front of expos. Now, we break down some of the details that are important to you with our expert for the week. We're just going to be diving into the details of ensuring that you go into the right expo and how you can strategize using expos as a marketing strategy. First of all, if you could just tell us, or if you could just help our viewers know, what exactly are these expos and what is the significance that they have for businesses?
Yeah, expos are basically, it's like showing off who you are and your products. And in this case, because we have international trade fairs, we are talking about showing off our country. What do we have? What do we got? What do we have for our locals here? What do we have for people, foreigners who are coming as visitors at the Nairobi Trade Fair? And not just for Nairobi Trade Fair, for any expo that happens here, let's say in Sarit, in case you see there are so many happening. Now, so an expo generally just shows what we got, what we got for the world. Yeah.
And say I'm a business who makes a revenue of about, the small MSMEs make about 1 million to 25 million a year. I'm already paying rent for my business. I'm already using all this money on taxation. Of course, it's been adjusted from 1% to 3%. What would convince me to spend an extra amount of money on an expo, and several expos at that, per year?
First of all, even when things are really tight and tough in the business world, one of the things you should not touch is the marketing budget. Right. In fact, when things are tough, you should even keep adjusting it higher. And we are lucky right now because we have the social media, you know, we have the digital marketing, we have many ways of talking about ourselves, even our products. So, given expos are a way of marketing, even your business. Now, this is the thing with marketing. Marketing does not necessarily interpret to sales. Sometimes it's very hard to get return on investment on your marketing budget or the marketing activities that you have done. But what marketing does, it propels you, it puts you out here, it gives you credibility, it gives you visibility which you need for your business. So even for Kenya, when you hear there's an expo, let's say you want to export, let's say avocados, where will you get customers? You need to visit expos even outside the country. Now when we do expos here, first, you know where to get your products. Number two, you can even tell people this is what I have. I feel in Kenya we have so much to offer.
How then do you measure as a business? How do you know, okay, this is the amount I would like to spend considering this is the product that I have and this is what I aim to make by the end of the year? How does this reflect in our sales?
From a business perspective, marketing is an expense like any other. The same way you have to pay employees, the same way you have to pay for rent, marketing should be one of them. And it's a serious factor. It's even a serious factor of production. It's also a serious factor of how successful you'll be. So paying for an expo as an exhibitor is not a loss. And the good thing with exhibitions and expos is that they give you a very long term view. Someone who will call you or over many years and tell you, we met in this expo and give you business. It could take a year. It is not a very short-term investment. I know Kenyans, we have a problem of wanting to reap so fast, but if we become very long-term in our business perspective, then we're able to harvest.
For the Nairobi Trade Fair, we saw that a lot of the businesses that were coming in there were banking on the foot traffic. The ASK, who were the promoters and who were also the organizers of this particular trade fair, were saying they were expecting about 500,000, people to come and visit there. A lot of businesses had their aims at around 100 people. Those 100 people would also help. In a lot of these expos, we see a lot of business-to-business connections. If you could just delve into that, how is this important for businesses?
It is extremely important. I have been previously I have exhibited there, but I also noted many people who are going to exhibit also expect very, very quick returns, like we have said, which is not possible, because first, you're not really going to sell, you're going to tell people about your business. Well, marketing and sales is different. Sales is, you can measure directly. I mean, I went to sell 20 eggs, I sold 2, I came back with 18. Now in marketing, like we have said, it's long term. The people who are at the what we popularly call it as the showground, and expecting that 500,000. We have, I remember those many years ago when we were younger, when we visited the showground, we would be amazed by the cows and all that. Yeah, I mean, these kids we have now, I mean, when I take my sons, which I always do, like maybe I'll take them on Sundays, they're not interested in the cows. They're wondering what do they have to do with cows. So they'll be more focused on the fun, the bouncing castles. But us who are adults, I mean, we need to change because we are not kids. We need to say, this is the biggest opportunity we have as a country to exhibit what we got. And it's a good opportunity to meet suppliers. Let's say, for example, you're in the real estate industry and you want to see who are selling roofing solutions. What is the most sustainable? Now we are talking about sustainable goals. So there are solar, people selling solar, for example, and solar has become big because, the power bill is also very high. Right. So if you're in a certain industry and you want to know how is my business going to survive the next 5-10 years, right, then you're in the right place. You need to go get as much information, as much suppliers as possible, so that you can be able to do your business sustainably. Yeah. Purity,
a lot of expos have a lot of benefits and they have a lot of people that they are aiming for. Each expo has its own demographic that it is aiming for. As a business, what are some of the things I should be looking out for? What are some of, the qualities I should be looking out for in these expos to know that this is the right expo that I should be going to?
The truth is, when you're beginning, it's very hard to know where you should go. So you have to cast your net wider, but you can zero down to what exactly you are in. Let's say we are talking about like solar solutions, like I had mentioned earlier, and you're in construction, but is this your area? What do? Are you an architect? Are you a contractor? So whatever you are in, you have to look for something that you have to have a list, at least, of things that you're looking for. And then if many of them tick from that expo, because most of them, they have the information, online, it's available. So that's an advantage. So you can easily tell, this will address my needs. Now, when you go to expos, this is the interesting bit. You could go to an expo and actually change your business totally, completely, a 360 flip. So I would say it's an eye-opening thing. It's not just purely looking at me. The only thing I sell is avocados, and there's nothing in for me. You could go there, your business is struggling, and decide, now I think I'll be selling tomatoes. I think I'll be in potato production. So it's also eye-opening. It's, I think, an opportunity for us to think wider and see what else can we do.
On the aspect of innovation, we've seen that, as expos usually adjust as they change, as the years go by. For example, the Nairobi Trade Fair, which started in 1902, started in Jivanji Gardens, by the way, and then over time it adjusted. Last year during COVID season, we had there weren't direct interactions, especially on the wider global margin. They employed, having Zoom, where there wasn't a lot of face-to-face interactions. Where do you see expos going in the future? How do you see people interacting in these expos?
It is good you have mentioned Zoom and COVID and all that. Yes. There's a fair in China called Canton Fair. And they were very creative. They actually put online. Because what you need, it's not just to see the product that you're buying. there are many aspects to a product than just the physical aspect. And I think in Kenya we also need to get there. And that is why, like I've said, the generation we are raising, they may not exactly understand why they have to go see cows and spinach and all that. So we have to keep being creative and innovative even as we do these fairs. Now, Canton did not stop. They are back this year. I think there was one in March, April, and there's another happening this October. Now, by the time the Chinese guys were still exporting to Kenya, even without the fair, people who were buying products, they were still buying because of communication and of course what we have called innovation. So you're able to order the products. I can send you samples, you can see it. So we should reach that angle where, as Kenyans, we are able to send away samples of what it is we are talking about. And then they give us orders, we do trials. Those are things we should be able to do because it's not rocket science. So if we have technology and very creative products, we should be able to send that even away. I mean, let's talk about a trader in Isiri or Gikomba or Nyamakima. You know, those guys will go to Kitale, they will go to Kisumu, they will go to Kerisho with samples, and then from there they establish connections and they will keep sending goods. So what is so hard in us sending goods elsewhere? It's not hard.
Expanding Expos to the larger global demographic could be quite a challenge. And talking about tariffs, embargoes and all that. What are some of the policies that are either encouraging or discouraging using Expos as a marketing strategy?
Now, I have interacted with many business people, especially people who are in manufacturing, and they have almost the same complaint. They say the government is not supporting us, we are overtaxed. The minute you open a plant and say you're manufacturing something, you're manufacturing clothes, I don't know, you're manufacturing, just something. I mean, let me just use KRA because they are the ones. They will be there, KEBS will be there. Not to encourage you, but first to check whether you have, you have met the standards. I feel when they are coming to us, they don't come with to help us make sure we are doing quality and that we are following the standards. I feel if you go to a real business person who is producing anything in this country, they feel harassed. And until we come down to the entrepreneurs on the ground, business people, and find out what they need. I mean, we have 60 to 70% of employment in Kenya being created by SMEs.
Right.
So if SMEs are that important, why are not they getting the support? And
of course, as we begin to wrap up, as the year progressively ends, there are a lot of expos that usually come up. People are more interested in, of course, showcasing their goods, making business-to-business connections. Where do you see the future of expos and businesses using expos?
I want to say that we should stop just focusing on physical goods.
Right.
We have intellectual property also. We have content creators. We need to see those people. I mean, if I create content and I'm not limited to the boundaries or the borders of Kenya, so I can export my content elsewhere. I'm grateful that now we're able to have people working remotely. I have so many people I know who are working here, but they're working for an American company. So even as because the world is changing so fast, we must move as fast and become as creative as possible. And I believe if Kenyans are supported, for example, why don't we have public Wi-Fi? You should be able to just walk in and sit in Karura and sit down and access Wi-Fi and do what you need to do. Let's focus also on technology. So let's go and encourage people to not just leave the villages. Let's encourage people to go make money. Even with, let's say if you have a small plot of land, let's say have an acre or quarter, you should be able to produce so much food, which is possible, and using technology. So there's so much Kenya has to do.
Thank you so much, Purity Kimotho, for joining us. That has been our business expert for the week. We were talking about expos this week, how they are helping, of course, micro, small and medium enterprises to adjust their sales and ensure that they market their businesses. This, of course, is going to help you and your grind. Are you thinking about marketing through expos? Are you thinking about expos as your next strategy to expand your business? My name is Hibak Saeed. I have been your host this Monday. See you next Monday, same time, same place on The Grind.